Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science here in New York City. Welcome to our Zoom call. I know many of you have been on for our morning meditation, which started at 10:45. Welcome to our gathering. And for all of you who are signing in right now, we want to send out our heartfelt welcome. Many of you will be watching also on Facebook and YouTube, where we have our recordings 24 hours a day. So if you're listening today and if there's something you miss or you want to hear again, I'd like to invite you to go there. We're deeply grateful for everyone here. Your presence means everything to us. We want to extend our heartfelt appreciation for making this center here at New York, First Church of Religious Science, now one of the largest broadcast services in the country. And before long, the world, if we're not there already. This morning, we're going to get into the textbook a little bit. Usually, I have the textbook available to me on my devices, but I have a copy today. This would be the textbook by Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind. It was originally published, I don't remember if it was 1926 or 1929. In religious science centers and churches, usually people go over the first, or centers go over the first 4 chapters in January. Some years we skip, some years we don't. The textbook is beloved by many, but it reads like a textbook, so it's a bit of work. I've done my best to take the message today and modernize it. If you want to study it more deeply, you can always pick up a copy of the book. I would suggest that you get a copy of the concordance, which I have, with me. That would be this book. And if you want the concordance to work with the textbook, you would want to pick up the edition that has a foreword by Gene Houston. That's for someone who really wants to study the teaching. I will say to you, though, since I've been presenting the Louise material for over 30 years to you, it's really not so much about reading all the textbooks, and we have many, as much as it is an understanding a very simple idea, which is life is responding to you. Every Thursday, we have a wonderful Louise Hay class based upon the book You Can Heal Your Life, wherein Louise would talk about points of her philosophy. And I'm here to tell you that points of her philosophy are essentially, it is the science of mind, just explained to you in such a way that most everyone can understand it. So no matter how you find yourself, if this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. And I also want to encourage you to stay with us. Join us on Wednesday evenings for our Creative Living series, which is hosted by Jimmy. Here in our center, Jimmy is a practitioner and our office manager. And every Thursday at 7 p.m., I think we have the longest running self-healing class anywhere, and that's hosted by me. So I'm glad you're here. We broadcast from the heart of New York City. Please join us in our studio audience if you're in New York. If you're new, I want to tell you about the center. This is the center that was the home of Raymond Charles Barker, our founder, who wrote The Power of Decision. And again, this was the home of Louise Hay herself. This is where she got her education. This is where she became a practitioner and a staff minister here. The work of Raymond Charles Barker, Louise Hay, continues here. We keep doing the work to inspire and guide a new generation of people. And we're open at the top, which means we're always evolving, we're always growing. We stand on some shoulders of what we call giants. These are really great people in our movement. And your presence here today with us is a testament to this vibrant legacy that we have here. Again, today is a very large gathering. When it concludes, we'll have a time for personal sharing, where you can share your good news, you can share your demonstrations. People are joining in from all over the world. Please try to be succinct in your sharing and just let us know. And let us welcome you at the very least. Say, hey, I'm from Kansas or Vermont or the Bronx or wherever it is. All of you here doing what you're doing is a testament to the power of our collective spirit and the hunger for spiritual growth and transformation. Again, we thank each and every one of you for your contribution that comes from your presence and the vitality that you bring to the center. Our center operates solely on love offerings, and for those of you who would like to support the center financially, there's always an option in the chat room, which you'll see on your screen, or if you prefer, you can send a check to us at 204 West 84th Street, New York, New York, 10024. That's in the chat room too. It's in the chat. And you can also go to our website, where we also have many talks of Raymond Charles Barker, our founders, and our other teachers as well. So let's move forward. Your contributions, by the way, of any size, allow us to reach more people and to do the work we do, and keep on letting people know how wonderful they are and that life is responding to them. Usually about 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 or 6 times a year, I read a poem that's meaningful to me. And I think it's meaningful to people who are new. So if you've heard it 100 times before, please bear with me. It's worth hearing again. And the reason it's important is because they come and they're new to the teaching. And we talk about the idea of oneness, one power, and the power being everywhere present. And I remember being a young person being moved by this poem, and I hope it moves someone. I'm sure it will reach the right person today, or those of you who have heard it before. It's called I Am There by James Dillard Freeman. And it starts out with a question. Do you need me? I am there. You cannot see me, yet I am the light that you see by. You cannot hear me, yet I speak through your voice. You cannot feel me, yet I am the power at work in your hands. I am at work, though you do not understand my ways. I am at work, though you don't recognize my works. I'm not strange visions. I'm not mysteries. Only in absolute stillness beyond self can you know me as I am, and then but as a feeling and a faith. Yet I'm there, yet I hear, yet I answer. When you need me, I'm there. Even when you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray, and I'm there when you don't pray. I am in you, and you are in me. Only in your mind can you feel separate from me, for only in your mind are the mist of yours and mine. Yet only with your mind can you know me and experience me. Empty your heart of empty fears. When you get yourself out of the way, I'm there. You can of yourself do nothing, but I can do all, and I am in all. Though you may not see the good, good is there, for I am there. I am there because I have to be, because I am. Only in me does the world have meaning. Only out of me does the world take form. Only because of me does the world go forward. I am the law on which the movement of the stars and the growth of the living cells are founded. I am the love that is the law's assurance, the law's fulfilling. I am assurance. I am peace. I am oneness. I am the law that you can live by. I am the love that you can cling to. I am your assurance. I am your peace. I am one with you. I am. Though you fail to find me, I do not feel you. Though your faith in me is unsure, my faith in you never wavers. Because I know you, because I love you, beloved, I am there. And so it is. Now let's shift our focus a little bit to a story that we have that will tee up today's lesson a little bit. It's called The Gardener's Secret. The Gardener's Secret, a tale of growth and transformation. In the heart of a bustling city, there was a forgotten garden, overgrown and neglected. Amidst the urban chaos, this garden was a hidden gem, yearning for care. It was just neglected for years. And this is where our story unfolds. There was a young lady, a young woman, her name was Mia, who discovered this garden by chance. It was all closed up. Mia was an office worker, and she led a life consumed by routine. So one day she was seeking solace from her mundane world. She found this garden all locked up, and she looked in and she found a way in. And its wild beauty, it just totally captivated her. She felt a connection with it. So driven by a newfound purpose, Mia decided to find out, what was involved in restoring the garden. And she was successful in getting her permissions, and she began to work. And she got some people to help her in the transformation of this garden. What she noticed before long was the transformation, her own personal transformation paralleled the garden's revival. She learned that nurturing the garden was not about planting seeds or weeding it. It was a process deeply rooted in understanding and patience. And that was mirroring the teachings that we have in our 4th chapter today, which is the reason I bring up the story. Mia started her days in the garden always by expressing gratitude. Gratitude for the sun, the soil, just the opportunity to be out there doing the work, and for the life that's always within the garden. This practice of gratitude, a key point also from this chapter 4, filled her with a sense of peace and mindfulness. She noticed she was aligning her actions with positivity and purpose. Mia discovered, as she was gardening, old tools that were in a shed and journals from the garden's previous caretakers. She realized that she was continuing a legacy, much like the spiritual journey described in our 4th chapter of our text today. This understanding gave her a sense of belonging to something much greater than herself, inspiring her to honor and build upon the work of those before her. Mia was learning to see the best. Despite all the challenges, Mia maintained an optimistic outlook, positive expectancy, focusing on the potential beauty of the garden rather than its current state and all that it needed. This approach, which is also encouraged in today's chapter 4, helped her overcome the obstacles and see the possibilities in every situation. Mia applied the teachings to her daily life, seeing the garden as a metaphor for growth and transformation. She shared her journey with others, inviting them to participate in the garden's revival. The garden became a community space, much like what we do here every 3 times a week, and a testament to the power of shared vision and collective effort. As Mia nurtured this garden, she discovered her own potential for creativity, resilience, and leadership. The garden, of course, flourished, transformed into a vibrant place, reflecting the boundless possibilities within each and every one of us, as highlighted also in chapter 4. Mia's story is a powerful illustration of how applying spiritual principles can lead to profound personal and communal transformation. Just like the garden, each of us has the potential to grow and flourish, transforming anything that's ever been before into something beautiful. And to also be contributors to the collective well-being. We all have something to give and to add. Mia's journey in the garden serves, again, as a metaphor for the transformative power of gratitude, a legacy, optimism, and practical spirituality in our lives, and living the affirmative life. So now let's get into our chapter 4. This chapter is brief, but it's absolutely filled with practical wisdom and spiritual guidance. It's a roadmap to unlocking possibilities, boundless potential within each and every one of us. We live in a time and a space where there's a lot of theory, and what Dr. Holmes was trying to say close to 100 years ago, there's not enough people practicing. So in our teaching, we have, practitioners. We have a great teaching. We'll tell you the God in you, as you, is you. We'll say you have this thing within you that it responds to because it has to. It's what it does. So we live in an era, he was saying, where there's too much theory and not enough practice. So once again, we come up on the subject of practicing the presence, inviting spirit into your awareness and knowing that it's there. And if you want tangible results from these timeless teachings, we must practice, practice, practice. When I was learning this material so many years ago for the practitioner classes, we would have these little sayings, when do you do affirmative prayer? And the answer was early, late, and often. And essentially what it was, they were trying to get us to see, all the teachers, is we really keep practicing being the lifters, practice seeing the good. Even when there's no evidence of good, our focus is knowing that this spirit is omnipresent. It's everywhere present. There's not a spot where it isn't. So as we come together week by week, we give you many, many, many suggestions of ways to practice. You don't have to do it any one way. What we're really trying to activate in you is a remembrance that you live, move, and have your being in this divine substance that responds to you. That's what it does. It always tries to get your attention as well, said Emerson. It's always there, wooing and guiding. So this fourth chapter would ask of us to commit ourselves to seeing the good. Let that be your overriding preoccupation, always, early, late, and often. We encourage you to develop what they used to call the high watch, looking to see the absolute best all the time. The words of Ralph Waldo Emerson echo in our hearts, encouraging us to aim high. You can look down, you can go to the problems, but his approach was to aim high, to reach for the stars. Within us, as Louise Hay would have said, resides an infinite well of intelligence, a well of possibilities. You have all the power that you could ever need in you, operating through you, as you. You're an inlet and outlet of this activity. You're part of it. So knowing that you're one with this power, it's time that you hitch your wagon to the stars and you allow yourself to dream big, to develop big ideas, to find out who you've come here to be and learn to express yourself. Our founders, Raymond Charles Barker and Louise Hay, and our other ministers, Stuart Grayson, Wade Adkisson, understood the power of these teachings and the incredible transformation that they can bring to our lives. Our movement is based upon healing. People who practice our teaching heal their lives. What part of their life? Every part of their life. There's no condition in your life that cannot be made better through the practice of this teaching. So we practice. We're here to be the lifters. We're here to see the good. It's all about consciousness. We understand in this teaching, in truth, there's nothing outside of us. So we don't look to a God above or afar, because we know the God that we're looking for is operating within us, as us. We look out on a world where everything we see is a reflection of this loving presence. It's in everything. It's in us now. So today, we honor the legacy of this teaching and all these great people by getting a little bit deeper into this chapter, where we uncover the secrets of profound healing, boundless joy, unshakable faith, enriching relationships, and prosperity beyond measure. It's all available for you. This chapter, as much as anything else, it's a call for you. It's a call for action, a call to step into your own greatness. It's a call for you to step up, to level up, and become the magnificent person that you were meant to be, you're destined to be. As we journey through these pages together, we're elevating our consciousness step by step. We're all learning and growing. We might be in different places, but we're all evolving. We're all evoluting, moving forward. And all of us, as we grow, are making contributions to the transformation of the world. But we do it by healing ourselves, by working with ourselves. As we delve deeper into the practical application of the teaching, as we embark on this journey, this inner journey, the journey without a distance. Through these pages of this great textbook, and through our sharings every week, 3 times a week, let us recognize always the immense power that we hold within ourselves. Together, we not only elevate our own self, but as we join in together, we elevate one another. We support one another. And then we contribute to the transformation of the world itself. In our exploration of these teachings, we come to understand that they transcend the boundaries of any religious affiliation. The universe doesn't play favorites. This universal power doesn't have a care in the world of what religion we're a part of. It just is. This power, this presence, this love, this energy is in everything that lives. It's in everything and responds to everyone. This presence is in everyone, everywhere, all at the same time. It always has been, it always will be. It is, as Emerson said, no respecter of persons. You can keep on waking up to realize it's with you and in you. And then you can forget, as we do. And then we will remember. Those of you who tune in more often will remember more. Many of us live our lives like the prodigal child. You're born into the kingdom, then you forget that you're the heir, you're the son or the daughter of the realm. And then you wake up and you remember again. If you stay tuned in on Thursdays and Sundays and Wednesdays, we will keep reminding you of who you are and that you're one with the one and that you have all the power in the world at your disposal. We will remind you what Raymond Charles Barker, he used to say, I have a rich father. And Raymond Charles Barker, our founder, would say, I am supplied and supported, and this church is supplied and supported. And he would suggest you support it with your happy money. And he was a character, but he had great faith in this teaching. And what Ernest Holmes was really hoping that we all would do is realize that this power, this presence is in us, operating through us, and it will always respond to us. So it makes sense to learn to slow it down a little bit, to take a pause, to go within, and to realize, this is a journey without a distance. You begin practicing, and you work with yourself, and you work with your conversation, what I call on Thursday night, the conversation that really matters, which is that internal dialogue. Keep changing it. Keep letting things go, changing the lesser idea for the greater always, and just bringing it in, entertain bigger ideas. You're meant to come here to flourish. The universe's will for me was told to me 43 years ago is to be happy, joyous, and free. So this power doesn't play favorites. It's no respecter of persons. We firmly believe in the omnipresence of this divine power. I'll say it more simply. There's not a spot where God is not. We believe that this power exists in every corner of the universe, in every living being, and in every moment of existence. There is no duality. There's only one power, one presence, one all-encompassing presence of this divine activity. Just as the air we breathe is universal, accessible to all of us without discrimination, and as unyielding as the force of gravity that holds us to the earth, so too is this spiritual truth. It knows no boundaries, it respects no divisions, and it doesn't discriminate based on anyone's faith. In a world that often grapples with conflicting ideologies and faiths, we as followers of this great teaching stand resolutely in the unwavering belief that there is one life, one energy, and that is our life. So we celebrate this universal presence. We live in this field of energy that sustains us, guides us, and we know that this same power is in everyone, everywhere. And this singular truth unites every one of us. And as we think of other people in other countries and other places, we know the same power that is in us is in them as well. This knowledge unites us, transcends boundaries and divisions, and it reminds us that the divine presence is not the exclusive possession of any one religion or any one group. It's a universal presence, a universal truth, a unifying force that calls us all to recognize the interconnectedness that we have, the interconnectedness we have with all of life, and to begin to honor the divinity that's within every soul. When we say namaste to one another, we really mean it. We know that the divinity in you acknowledges it and sees it in yourself and in the world. You know that every encounter is in fact a holy encounter. You may know that people are operating at different levels of understanding, but you know that they are still spiritual beings. Ernest Holmes is saying in chapter 4, for those of us who are really working the teaching, what we're doing is we're demonstrating the supremacy of spiritual thought, or we're demonstrating the superiority of consciousness over conditions. That's the best I can break it down. In other words, your consciousness will transform your conditions. He's talking about, nevertheless, those of you who are really working with the teaching, if you're really practicing, you're going to have a demonstration. It's going to be, your belief is going to, it's going to demonstrate. Your consciousness is that powerful. And it's exciting to see the progress you're going to make. Now, how are you going to have that progress again? By practicing. As I said earlier in the lesson, practice. I can give you an analogy. Imagine that you have a toolbox that's filled with amazing tools, for 2024. It's like a super toolbox. Because you do. You have spirit within you. You have an amazing gift, once you realize that God in you, as you, is you, and it will respond to you. So imagine you have this great toolbox filled with amazing tools, which you do have. The tools represent the teaching and the principle of spiritual thought or consciousness. Now, when you learn how to use these tools correctly, you can overcome any challenge in your life. It could be a health challenge, it could be a wealth challenge, it could be a relationship challenge. You have in this teaching the power to overcome, to transform, transcend just about anything that comes into your world. It's like being a superhero with superpowers, special powers. Now, the fact of the matter is everybody has these powers, but most people are not awake and don't realize that they have this power. People who come into this teaching are very, very relatively few in numbers. So Ernest Holmes would say there's power for good in the universe, greater than you, and you can use this power. So you have it within you. What Holmes is saying here is that when you genuinely apply the spiritual teaching, what we call principle, when you genuinely apply, you'll start to demonstrate this inner power, and your positive thoughts will start to have the upper hand over the things that are currently challenging you. And that's really exciting because it shows that you're making real progress in life. So practice, and you'll start to see some results. When you're using your affirmations, say them and until you can feel them. Put passion in your affirmations, and then you can start working on affirmative prayers if you want to. So you build up your consciousness. Number 2, when I was putting my notes together, it looks like what Ernest Holmes was saying, if I could paraphrase him, is your demonstrations will inspire you. And then when you share them with us on Sundays and Thursdays, it will inspire the rest of us as well. When you see someone who's using their tools and they're making demonstrations and using their tools effectively, it's like we all benefit from it. Their success and their happiness inspire the rest of us because we realize then that we can do it too. That's one of the great reasons, our Wednesdays and Sundays are so successful, because we start to witness people actually utilizing these tools. When you witness someone living a life of positivity and abundance, it acts as a beacon showing you that these teachings are not just theoretical, but practical and achievable. We assert that there is no sickness in the mind of God, Ernest Holmes said. No disease, no neediness, no poverty, and no misery. Now that's in that chapter 2. Again, we assert that there's no sickness in the mind of God, no disease, no neediness, no poverty, and no misery. Now, the point to understand is these are absolute truths in their own right. The textbook asserts something very important, though. It says, in the mind of God or the universe, there is no sickness, no disease, no poverty, no misery. These are absolute truths. It's like saying the sun rises in the morning. This means that at the fundamental level of existence, there is only well-being. Again, this means at the fundamental level of existence, there is only well-being. That's how Louise Hay could say all is well. At the fundamental level of existence, there is abundance and happiness. It's a reminder that the universe is inherently supportive and abundant. Again, it's a reminder that the universe is inherently supportive and abundant. However, for you and I to manifest these truths in our experience and to demonstrate them, we must go beyond just talking about all is well, I'm healthy. You must bring yourself to a point where you absolutely believe that to be true. Holmes says to make these truths a reality in our lives, we can't just talk about them. We have to live them. We have to build up that type of expectancy in our lives. It's like having the world's best recipe book with all the best recipes in the world. You have them, all the best recipes in the world. But just owning that recipe book won't make you a great chef. You have to follow the recipes. You have to gather the ingredients and cook the meals. In a similar way, we must embody these spiritual principles in our lives. We must embody the principles, again, in our lives. I remember teaching this class, I've said it many times. Benjamin Franklin used to say, assume a virtue if you have it not. Bring it into your life, own it, practice it. So Holmes is saying in the 4th chapter, we must embody these spiritual principles in our lives, knowing that the law is infinite and ever present and responds to them, whatever it is that is living within you. It exists as the potential possibility of all human probability, but it must flow through us to manifest for us. Now, I know that's a lot to take in. I'll say it again. Life responds to you. So within you is the potential possibility of all probability, every good thing. But it must flow through us to manifest for us. You'll note that many weeks I'll talk about, as Louise Hay will say, what are you approaching the ocean of life with? Is you have a container? Is it small or is it big? Because the suggestion is you need to create an avenue in mind to create something more. You can't be holding on to the same old mindset that I don't have and poor me and I ain't it awful and expect the universe to give you more and more and more. What we need to do for ourselves is to have, utilize our creative visualization and to know that we're supplied and supported in every way so we can create an avenue in mind to receive the things that we're talking about here. So back to Holmes, we must embody the principles. We must embody these principles in our lives, knowing that the law is infinite and it's ever present. It exists, again, as the potential possibility of all human probability, but it has to flow through us. Said another way, we often say, God can't do for me what it can't do through me. So we have to have a much bigger idea of ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves for everything, forgive other people, and just develop a much, much bigger idea and know how infinitely supplied and supported you are. The universe so loves you that it responds to every thought you think. So think great thoughts. Think expansive thoughts. Now here's the big idea. The universe operates by certain laws, like gravity, for example. These laws are always there. They always have been there, right? Since the beginning. We can't change the laws, but we can learn how to use them to our advantage. When we use positive thoughts and affirmations, it's like giving instructions to the universal law. Again, when you use positive thoughts and affirmations, it's like giving instructions to this universal law. Life is going to respond to you. Again, what you think, what you know, what you believe is very important. If you have a negative mentality, you want to work on letting that go. Just keep working on letting it go, letting it identify it, release the patterns of thought. When we're using positive thoughts and affirmations, again, he says it's like giving instructions to this universal law. It listens, it responds to your directions. Just like a computer follows the commands you type, The law never plays favorites. It works for everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live. Our affirmation and our conscious thinking will give direction to this omnipotent force. Again, Holmes would say our affirmations and our conscious thinking give direction to this omnipotent force. This law, it responds to our conscious direction. So picture it like this for today. You're surrounded by an invisible force. Think of it as a magical energy ready to create whatever you believe in. It's like having a great genie at your disposal. But remember, this universal law never changes. It's always reliable. It is a universal presence that respects no person but flows through all. You can't manipulate it. A universal presence that respects no person but flows through all. However, if you doubt this law or you think it won't work for you, it still works by showing you that it doesn't work because your doubts and your negative thoughts become your reality. So the message from Holmes in this chapter is have faith. Please work on having faith. Believe in the power of these principles and watch things start to happen. You will come to know that the kingdom of good is at hand. Magic will happen right in your life, right before you. In essence, Holmes is teaching us that by understanding and applying these principles, we can harness limitless possibilities, limitless power rather, with our thoughts and our consciousness to shape our lives positively and create a reality aligned with our deepest desires and our aspirations. These teachings emphasize our role as co-creators with the universe. My father always used to say, spirit will not be the uninvited guest. So you want to keep inviting it in and work with it. Know that this power is in you, operating through you, and responds to you. And we want to use our conscious awareness to bring forth the abundant and harmonious life that really has always been our birthright. The universe, it should be said also, operates without punishment. It's not out to hurt or harm anyone. Any difficulties we encounter result from failing to constructively use the law for our highest and best. We must recognize that we are cause of our own experience. That's the law of cause and effect. Louise would say, what I give out comes back to me. So we want to challenge ourselves to see a bigger picture, a bigger world. We want to aim higher. We want to keep seeing the good, the God. We must keep seeing the bigger picture and let go of the lesser idea. Bill Tolliver, one of my favorite teachers, said, we're in the business of trading in the lesser ideas for the greater. And Louise Hay would say, never, never, never criticize yourself. Stop criticizing others. You live, move, and have your being in a world of good. Holmes would say, the universe does not punish a mathematician who fails to find the right answer. It patiently, very patiently awaits the application of the correct principle for success. When we're dealing with our consciousness, when we're dealing with our thoughts, impulses, and emotions, we wield immense power. Your word is your wand, remember? So we want to exercise care in how we harness this power, because life is always responding to you. Every Thursday, I ask, what's it been like being you? Because I know life is always responding to you. Our thoughts are forever taking form, and then they're deserting the forms that they've taken. Therefore, we don't want to be perplexed by any of this. Conditions or problems or challenges, diseases or hardships, all of it's subject to change. Whatever is in your life that you think is terrible, that you've brought in, you might say by means of consciousness, you are bigger than the challenge. The conditions in your life don't have consciousness. You have consciousness. You're bigger than anything that's in your life. The universe is never divided against itself was probably the last key point was made there. As we practice the teaching, we learn to control our thought process. We learn to align our thought processes with reality, and we learn to gain mastery over our thinking. This journey might be day by day, it might be hour by hour. Sometimes we may need to start our day over. It's never too late to turn your day around. But we're committed to living the affirmative life. We're committed to living a more positive, stable, confident, secure life, practicing positive expectancy. We can look adversity right in the eye, right in the face, and deny its ultimate reality. We can face difficulties with unwavering belief that all is well and that we have the power to change our circumstances. This ability must be gained through, again, the practical application of what we know. Again, Franklin, assume that virtue, keep practicing it. The science of mind calls for positive understanding of truth and a willingness to let our inner spirit guide us. Take that time to take a pause whenever you can. Show up as often as you can with us, because we'll keep reminding you of how wonderful you are and the power that you have. When your thoughts align with the law, the results are inevitable and you will become unstoppable. As we think definitively and as we clarify our desires, the law responds more effectively. False facts are transient, and they can be changed by changing your consciousness. The conditions, again, in your life are not entities. You are an entity. They don't have consciousness. You have consciousness. So as we proceed on this path, let us remember always that we possess the power to transform, we possess the power to create and manifest the highest good. So that's pretty much what's in chapter 4. So ends today's lesson. I'm greatly looking forward to hearing your comments. I did my best to break this segment down so it's a little bit more understandable. But I invite you all to go to the text and spend some time with it too. So I look forward to hearing from all of you the other side of the break. You can share your demonstrations and what it's been like being you. And if you're new, say hi and where you're from. So thank you.